Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you are well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that cheeky notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now, today's first story is one that's been suggested on our own subreddit. I've had private messages about this story. I'm not sure what to expect, but people are telling me it's wild. I can see from the title itself, it's something. It's from user NoPool7823 from the True Off My Chest subreddit and says, my 15-year-old idiot kid got his girlfriend pregnant on purpose. Throwaway for obvious reasons. I, 30 female, have a child who is 15 male. We call him Ollie, plus other children aged 2, 6, 9, and 11. As you can tell by my own age, I was a teen parent. I was lucky and we married at 18. Still married, healthy relationship, worked our way out of a very dire situation. Graduated, started a trade, etc. And we're comfortable, stable in all ways. This information is relevant. Ollie has been friends with this girl. We call her Bree, since he was 7 years old. Their family used to live in the same city as us and went to the same school, same friendship group. We know her parents and are long-distance friends ourselves. Not close friends, but say hello when the kids are on video chat. Had drinks together before. Bree's family moved to a very small town 3 states away due to rental affordability. No secret. We all had talked about the rising costs of everyday life. The cost of living in this city has risen, forcing many locals out. They moved because of that and for better job opportunities 18 months ago. Since then, Ollie has been begging for us to follow, giving us a sales pitch on cheaper housing, better paying jobs, none of which fit either of our professions, the whole works. We have said no because, well, no. But even if we wanted to, our other children are in school, sports, and have friends here. Selling and buying another house, finding work outside of our skill set, or having to learn new skills. Any normal adult would understand this. He does not. Well, fast forward to Christmas. Bree's family come back to our city for a holiday, and the kids met up multiple times with each other. It was my understanding that they were always with the other kids, but obviously not, since Bree is pregnant, and I'm certain it was on purpose. He has access to condoms. I don't care for his opinions on that. My access was restricted, and I had him. He's had sex ed from me, my husband, and school. He knows damn well how babies are made and how not to have one. Ollie now wants to move to be with her and the baby. It's confirmed I've talked to her parents, and I said no. I don't feel I need a reason, but he asked. You're 15. You don't have any proof it is your child yet. I'm not moving us away from our lives, and you aren't going alone until you're 18. We will do a DNA test, then we will look at parenting plans, and topped it off with, too bad, too sad. You made your bed, now you have to sleep in it. He took that back to Bree, and now all communication between me and her parents has been cut. I'm a terrible person. My comments about the DNA test are disgusting, and it's fueling my son's hate for me. He says I'm keeping him from the love of his life and future baby, using my own successful relationship as proof it will work out. I actually don't even know if I'm right or not. I'm just really upset and feel like my life I worked really hard for has been destroyed. Edited for update and to answer some questions. She is due September around the 22nd, so there is no option for abortion. I don't think that or adoption ever was. Ollie admitted it was on purpose last night. Apparently it was Bree's idea first as a joke that turned into a plan together. Bree's parents will only pass messages through my son, and I've heard this for myself. I stood outside the door and listened to them tell him, tell your mother, insert info below, because I know I will just go off on her about that bullshit still. They're still talking shit about me with my kid. They're appalled I would think that way of Bree when I've known her for more than half of her life and do not wish to talk to me. I will not allow him to move out there alone. There are some past issues such as Bree breaking up with him twice in the last 18 months because she found someone that she liked more in her new town, around August and October last year. Same boy. And when it ended, she came back to Ollie. Bree is a nice girl, but her behavior is toxic and has been since a child. Her mother and stepfather are nice, but the relationship is unstable. The house is chaos. 9 children combined with blended family and 2 to 3 teens with serious mental health struggles. You'd be leaving stability for chaos and no structure. I want a DNA test. I will not budge on that. I am close to cutting his contact totally at this point because they are only empowering him and reinforcing his behavior towards me and his father. His father is a man of few words, which is unhelpful. So far, he's backed everything I have said, and only really chosen to say, "You have the intelligence of a pear." And we do have multiple updates on this one, so I imagine it's going to get real crazy soon, but it's mad enough as it is, especially the whole cutting you off, and they seem to be feeding him lines and refusing to even consider a DNA test. Everything is like shady from that side of the family. Whilst Ollie seems to be in some sort of like teenage fantasy land where he's in some kind of love story or something. But we're going to get straight into that next update because I need to know what's going on. Things have gone south even further. At this point, husband and I have been blocked on all social media and numbers blocked, but the communication with Ollie has continued. Ollie gave us Bree's parents' email address to send an email to. But before using that, I asked him to video chat Bree with me there and then, so I could ask Bree to please get her parents, so I can talk to them about this and tell her that if they were going to continue to refuse, then I'll be blocking all contact to Ollie and communication until this is resolved. I told Ollie this before the call. At first he flipped out about it, but it was this or I cut communication completely. I do think he understood that it is not okay that her parents are speaking to me through minors, and he said himself he would like us to talk to each other. Bree joined the call and hung up when she saw I too was there. Ollie called back a few times and she didn't answer. She asked via text why I wanted to talk to her, and Ollie told her that I wanted to speak to her mother, and if we didn't resolve the communication issue, then all contact would be ended until her parents made contact with us, and we make a plan for the next few months, including DNA, and then birth arrangements. Said that if the baby is his, we will travel there for the birth and first few weeks after. He told her that I personally think it probably is his baby, but I want to be sure and make sure everything is done right from the start. Well, Bree blocked him with a reply, and he is totally heartbroken and not eating, sitting in his room all day and night, not mad at me surprisingly. Very, very sorry for him and to us, sad about it all, and I think regretful. He even asked me if there was a way to undo it for himself. I haven't talked about signing over rights, a male abortion his father called it, because I think he's just upset right now. A mutual friend of Bree and Ollie's here in our hometown showed him a few posts she made in the last 24 hours. Things like, "It's you and me against the world, baby girl," and memes about deadbeat dads. She also announced the pregnancy, which she hadn't done yet, and the post had some single mother facts and quotes. Ollie's friends knew about the situation, and a few were under the impression he had dumped her and the baby, going by the posts, when he explained what had happened. They all rallied for him in the comments. I said not to, and now she's blocked them, and we can't see what she has posted. This is just a nightmare. I had a plan personally, not set, but something I wanted to talk to her parents about, but I don't even want to waste my time at this point. Ollie gave us Bree's parents' email address to send an email to with said plan. Basically, Bree does DNA blood test. We will pay the full $1,500 for it. If it is his baby, we can book flights and plan to be there for the first month. I'll stay too with Ollie. Maybe even the whole family, and then we can also work on a parenting plan and getting into mediation for a judge to sign off on it. Ollie's father and I split for the first 7 months of his life, so we have done this before and we know the process. But at this point, I think I will just leave it to settle before sending an email. Next update. Someone suggested I repost the update because they didn't see it until now, so I am. Update again June 3rd. Ollie's friend was able to see her Instagram through an old account. Different email? I don't use Instagram enough to know what that means, but it meant they weren't blocked when they reactivated. They found the pregnancy announcement post, and if you scrolled across it showed a digital copy of the scan Bree sent us at a 16-week scan. Apparently the first scan she had at the OB. That is dated 4th of the 4th and clearly says GA 19 plus 3 weeks, making an August due date, I believe, or very early September. This would not line up with a due date given to us, but does line up with when her parents told me she was pregnant mid-April. They told us we had the pregnancy confirmed and sent a photo of the printed pic, which the date isn't on there. I actually think it may have been cut off at the top. I haven't told Ollie this yet because I want to be sure. I'm very concerned about his mental health at the moment and taking that into consideration. But unless you give the wrong period dates and the baby measured only 16 weeks, then it's not possible for it to be our son's. Also, added information. Her due date, from what we know, is September 22nd. She was here from December 20th to Jan 7th, and saw Ollie December 1st and 22nd and January 4th and 5th. Never overnight. I asked Ollie when did this happen, and he said January 4th was the only time, which makes more sense as they were in public gatherings otherwise. They were at a mutual friend's birthday that night, but never stayed overnight. I've had 5 kids and I know dates are too close to figure it out that way. Ollie also said that the joke Bree made was to just see if it happens, the pregnancy, because then it's obviously meant to be, and he'll be able to move. To me, it sounds like she had the plan a lot longer, but I may be biased here. And so far, it does feel like she's had a plan a lot longer. I mean, the let's just see what happens kind of thing. I mean, he's a Burke for going along with that, but it does feel like there was some kind of plan in the background. And I think Opie's right to be basically holding the line in this situation, getting that DNA test, because it sounds like there is, even from the previous post, there's something very fishy going on here. But 12 days later, Opie comes in with another one and says, I spoke to Bree's biological father. Lives in this town. I had no idea about any of this. Before you come for me, there was no known domestic violence or anything. I felt I had run out of options at this point and I just wanted a way to contact them. Bree's mother then made contact, agreed to the blood test if we paid for it. Ollie and Bree spoke again and Bree asked to come here for a holiday and have an ultrasound with him to prove dates in person. I agreed to this, but I may not be thinking straight with the stress we have all been under. She says she is 26 weeks, sent him a photo of her belly, which has grown, and told him there is no other option but him to be the father. But the ultrasound had to go by her last period date and she didn't remember, so she went by her app, and it was the period before. That's why the dates are out on the scan. I asked if she had a physical booklet of pregnancy notes or something because I know from experience that they have all the confirmed information on them. But she said everything is digital with her doctor, and I didn't want to push because it's not my medical info. I'm wondering if I do just fly her out here on my own terms. Her mother agreed and do the blood and ultrasound here and put an end to it all. 10 days later, another update says, we all come to a travel arrangement. We paid for Bree to fly out and her father was paying for the ticket home. Bree was supposed to fly to us this morning and stay for 6 weeks total flying back. 6 weeks total, flying back sometime in August. Her father's in charge of that flight. She was staying with us over these next few weeks while we do our annual July 4th family vacation for a week and then a couple more weeks back here at home for the ultrasound/blood test. This was decided together, both families, because Bree and Ollie would like to have some kind of positive experience/memories during the pregnancy, and obviously if baby wasn't his, Bree would be taken to her father's and we would be finished with it all. But she never turned up for her flight. She texted the night before that the doctor did not recommend. She should not travel as she is at risk of preterm labor due to her age and a severe morning sickness makes her only be able to tolerate pineapple juice. So she is needing to be hospitalized and maybe even deliver early. This is on top of a group photo that included Bree, obviously pregnant in a tight tee, hugging the boy she was dating in her new town, his hand on her belly. It was quickly removed from her story when Ollie asked. I think it was intentional to make him jealous. I'm done. I do not believe her or her parents. I've contacted a lawyer and therapist. I will not be updating again until I know the outcome of the DNA test that I assume will not be done until after the baby is born, since I was told today. I cannot force her to have while pregnant. If this baby is Ollie's and my grandchild, I'm willing to move Bree here and have her live with us. Has no chance and will continue to ruin my son's life from afar. Then Opie comes in with an update. almost 3 weeks later. It says, I didn't plan on updating prior to the DNA test, but I can confidently say we do not need it to know the truth. We will likely still do one if Bree sticks to her story. Only I will go through the courts at this point. We have a family lawyer and he's advised these updates are fine as long as I do not identify anyone by name, location, etc. I had a lot of helpful messages on here and I do read them all even if I don't reply. One of them from a radiographer who suggested that I look at the measurements of the baby on the ultrasound if I'm able to get scan pictures and then use that to calculate if the baby was 16 weeks on that scan. I've kept that idea in mind if I ever got the chance to see the scan myself. The same Redditor also raised concerns that she only had this one scan at 16 weeks, and there wasn't a 20-week scan again 4 weeks later. All OBS would do a scan at 18 to 22 weeks. The one photo we've seen is a photo of a scan, a profile shot of the baby's face at 16 weeks, and there hasn't been another scan since then. We've been playing it safe and being very careful with how we tread around Bree, not wanting to cause any arguments. We have not mentioned this to them yet, and if by chance someone tells them via this post, or they know about this post, we don't care. We have nothing to lose since the baby isn't Ollie's, and this is how I know. Bree and Ollie have many mutual friends, but one other girl, Hannah, who is still friends with both of them from within the group. Hannah believes Ollie is the father because that's what Bree says, but she had a falling out with Bree this week. It led to her talking to Ollie, and then she sent Ollie a video that Bree sent her after the ultrasound in April. Prior to this, Bree had told her not to show him because he wasn't going to be in the baby's life by choice, and all the things she was posting about deadbeat dads. This video shows multiple measurements being done, and I was able to see clearly that the baby measured 19 weeks and that the scan was the 20-week scan. There is no way that baby is Ollie's baby. She is due August 26th. Ollie knows all of this and is doing okay. Very angry, but he has the support he needs. What happens now, we don't know, but we know the truth. All we can do is speculate as to why my son was the target of this plan. I know we will likely never know the truth. To clear some things up, I will not be taking this up with Bree and her family until after the baby is born. I'm not concerned about the DNA test results, but we'll still do one. In the video, the OB/nurse, whoever was doing the scan, says, "So your due date is August 26th, which lines up perfect for your last period." So I know that's the due date, and you can clearly see the numbers on the screen showing the measurements at 18 to 19 weeks. Ollie cannot be the father. She wasn't even in the state. There is plenty of other more detailed clues I have, but will not post. I think the father is the boyfriend in that town, but what I don't understand is why Ollie was better. Yes, there is more money, but we aren't rich. We just live smart. Thanks for the support. So, a commenter says to OP on this one, if she had unprotected sex with multiple people, then you need to get your son tested for everything. Ollie is lucky to have parents who are looking out for him. OP says we have done. He's been given the all clear, thank goodness. Commenter says, good. Good that you're protecting Ollie. Are you planning to do anything on his lying manipulative behavior? Left unaddressed, he has the potential to manipulate not only you, but others including his friends, future partners. OP simply replied with, therapy. Commenter said to that, would love to know what exactly you've done when it comes to the consequences inside the home. He obviously needs therapy, but therapy isn't a consequence, it's a necessity. It seems like you've let him off the hook for everything because you feel bad that he's sad. That's not enough. OP says, we believe in natural consequences rather than punishments. So a natural consequence for this situation is exactly what's happened. A natural consequence for the intention to manipulate us to move, etc., is now the loss of trust, and with a loss of trust comes a loss of freedom until that trust is earned. But if I'm totally honest, my kid just needs therapy and support at this point. He's lost everything, his confidence, his reputation, his girlfriend, even if for the better, a large majority of his friends, and their parents who now don't want him around their kids, etc. Just because we know that baby isn't his, doesn't mean the rest of the world around us does. Bree still insists it is, and most believe her. He's being punished, but not by me. OP clarifies on details of the pregnancy scan at 16 and 20 weeks and says, she never had a 16-week scan. She had a 20-week scan that she told us was 16 weeks. As far as I know, that is the only scan she has had. We'll do a DNA test via the course. If she tried to pull child support. Where we live, you either need to sign the birth certificate and agree that you're the father to be put on child support, or if you disagree, then you need to do a DNA test and it's court ordered. So that would depend on what they do. I'm not wasting money on a test when I know 100% already that baby isn't his. OP on taking the proper steps of dealing with this whole situation. OP says, "We have spoken to a family lawyer, and in our state, Bree can put them on the birth certificate without him signing it. But in order to file for child support, he needs to agree that he is the father plus he's cited as listed on the birth certificate. If he raises a disagreement about being the father, it goes through court and a DNA would be ordered." Bloody hell, what an absolute messy situation. And it does seem like Bree and the parents as well had some kind of agenda from the very start. The joke about getting pregnant. And it only seems OP, the mum in this situation, is one of the only people thinking clearly here. I mean, where was the husband? He was mentioned once and never again. He sounds about as useful as a chocolate teapot. I can see why OP would want to protect her son in this situation. Yes, as one of the commenters said, he's an absolute walnut, but a lack of communication, the sketchy due dates, and the emotional games that's being played at the same time. I can absolutely see why people are like, I wonder what's going to happen next with this now. I mean, the timings and everything, and OP seems very confident that's definitely not Ollie's baby. So at some point, this is all going to come out to everyone, and it's gonna be something, right? But what do you guys make of this situation? I always think, we've talked about this in the 20 minutes or so that we've read OP's story, but this is their daily life. They're living this every day, and it must be just absolutely exhausting. But what do you guys make of this one? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Just a huge thank you for being here today, getting involved in the stories, your love, your support, your time. It always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being here, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care and much love.